Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. And I've got some ladder action coming away this afternoon, chaps. First of all, quick message to reiterate and go over what I was saying in the previous cast. Looking for more of these base scenes, like this weird Aeon one in the background right in front of you now, guys, just to kind of jazz up the channel, make it look a bit funky. We need it for all races. Most needed, it has to be said, are the Aeon and the Seraphim ones, because they're kind of rubbish, but I'll leave that all up to you. We will need all races. I have put a forum post up since the last time I discussed it, and if I haven't put a link to that in the description below this video at the time of watching, please feel free to shout at me and call me names, and I'll rectify that immediately. Basically, they just have to be 1920 by 1080p. They have to be about 4 or 5 minutes in length, so we don't get a loop in the middle, and yeah, they just have to be as creative as possible. Doesn't have to be a base scene, it can be a battle if you want, but the camera has to be static, and Gyle will work his magic. He's the guy who's helping me do it. Big thank you to him. Anyway, on to today's game. Like I said, it's going to be a ladder match, and it's going to go down on Ambush Pass. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So just our two players here, Mano and Mano, of course. It is ladder. Let's take a look at who is joining us today. Up here, going first in the blue corner, it's System Failure, and he's going Cybrin, opening first land. And his opponent down here in the red corner is Skiff, also going Cybrin, so it's a mirror matchup, also going first land, but deciding to go second, third, fourth, and fifth land. And I'm pretty sure I've cast these guys both before. Not sure I've cast them in ladder, though. I may have casted System Failure in ladder. No, actually, no, I might have casted Skiff in ladder at one point or not. But certainly I've cast them both in larger team games. It's always nice to see them in different formats because, of course, the game is so radically different in the differences between team and ladder matches. But the first few build units coming out for Skiff, they're off the conveyor belt, are engineers, first three. Then he's gone 2 moles, and now he's switching to hunters. So we're going to get some lab play out from him. And it seems to be all engineers from System Failure. So Skiff definitely going to be the more aggressive one in this one so far. And those factories are all queued up by the ACU as well, so he's not going to be moving out anytime soon. Remember, meta for Ambush Pass generally dictates you're going to move your ACU up the right-hand side if you're on the bottom, and down the left-hand side if you're on the top, which you can see System Failure is already doing. And it looks like he's about to run headfirst into a mole. It's probably not going to go too well for the mole, unless, of course, he doesn't cut right at the last minute, which he's going to do. Terribly unfortunate. Telegram will be sent to his mother immediately. In comes the mole as well into the main base, glean some information. Basically suicide units there, but always useful for extra early intel. And the hunter is going to run into the engineer in the top right for Skiff. That will be a win. Instantly that lab pays for itself. Well done to you, sir. And there's another lab as well over in the west, coming up the left-hand side of the map, coming around the back. What are the kill orders on this puppy? Okay, so it's a waypoint to the back and then an auto-attack move. And of course, the first thing he's going to engage is the nearest thing to him, which is the mechs. And there are moles in the vicinity, but no mantis to come to that mech's rescue. Slowly get taken down at the pace at which fingernails grow. But now he's getting some mantis in on the case. A little bit of micro doesn't keep it alive long enough to polish it off. That mass extractor will survive on just 82 hit points. Over to the east down here, a little bit of a minor Frankar went better for Skiff than System Failure. Pretty sure that was a mantis in the mole that went down there for System Failure. But now a lab in around the back from the west will be successful in taking down at least an engineer and a mole. In fact, 3 kills to its name. That might be 2 engineers and a mole. So that one also paying for itself in slowing up System Failure's expansion. System Failure's come forward in the west. He's getting some PD together over there. Wants to secure that position. And finally, we're getting Skiff moving forward. Look how much longer he stayed in his base, moving out at 4 minutes 30. We're getting a push over from the east. Could potentially finish off that mass extractor. Not going to be able to win on the ground against the reinforcing blue mantis coming out from system failure. Might as well finish off the mechs. He's not going to do it though. 10 hit points left on that chappie. Luckiest mass extractor ever. Somewhere in there is a little old Cybran mechs operator who programs it to go up and then down. That's counting his lucky stars that his building wasn't destroyed. Skiff moving up to join his units. There's a lot more units going north than there are units coming south. System failure not sending a lot of troops up here to join his ACU and to harass Skiff, which is a little bit of a shame because it's looking a little bit open, or has been open up until now. Now there is, however, an auto gun in place. Skiff buying himself enough time with harassment up in the northeast. So well done to him, but ACU coupled with all of these units on the ground, going to be tough to repel for system failure. Skiff going to go in first, use the HP on the comm as a buffer before getting his units involved. And it's going to be about that time for system failure to move forward as well. Doesn't look like he's got any orders queued up after building that mechs, however. Skiff going to advance. Going to want to take down that radar. That will definitely be a priority target. A little bit further back, system failure trying to get an auto gun in place. Might be successful. It's around 50% complete, but Skiff continues to press on that position, and he will see it and go straight after the engineers building it, and that will cease production around 60% complete. Work there from Skiff, denying that, preventing system failure from cutting off this avenue of attack. And system failure actually not pressing his advantage in the southwest of the map, or pressing any kind of advantage at all. Anyway, he's going to withdraw his ACU from the front line and bring it back to defend. While he should have enough firepower then to contend with what's coming at him from this side, it does mean that down here is vulnerable, and all of the combat likely to take place in this area of the map and away from Skiff's base, allowing him to tech up and go unmolested. Of course, one flip side to that is the amount of mass that will be deposited on system failure's doorstep. We'll see if he can take advantage of that. But Skiff down to around 6,600 hit points, moves closer and closer to the core of system failure's base. Did see system failure move out a few units there. Thought we were going to get a little bit of an engagement down here in the southwest, but not for the moment. And 4 T1 P-Gens bite the dust. This is starting to go quite badly for system failure. Now bringing in his ACU. A couple of overcharges into the mix wouldn't go amiss, but alas, he doesn't have an operational power storage. Don't know if one went up in that last push there from Skiff. Failure needs to be really careful though. There are a lot of mantis around here. Thankfully they've been prioritizing his mantis at the moment, but now they suddenly primary the ACU, and you see the hit points falling off the comm there. Down into the yellow, 7,200 to 6,800. The advantage he had in HP over Skiff's comm slowly diminishing. And that's a far, far forward factory as well. Skiff really wanting to lock down this area of the map and pen in his opponents as best he can. Our blue Cybran on around 7,000 HP. Our red Cybran on around 6,000 HP. And you see extra build capacity utilized from the Mantis. All of these guys could be assisting the building of that auto gun. Getting it up just a little bit quicker. Basically the build power is something like half or a 1 or something tiny. And now we're finally getting some action down in the southwest. Skiff pushing out. Going to be successful in taking down that mechs. System failure going to have to back up towards this secondary base, which is very lightly defended indeed. Just that one auto gun in play, aside from the handful of Mantis and the Medusa on the field. Skiff going for an upgrade on his comm. Take a look at what we've got here. On the overlay, probably going to be looking at gun. Skiff could really do with a couple more Medusas here just to range that auto gun a little bit more. Take it out ideally before he goes in with the Mantis. I think I'm right in saying that the firing randomness is the worst of all of the T1 light artillery on the Medusa. Makes up for the fact, of course, the EMP and the high damage that it does. Medusa OP, please nerf, but look at the accumulation of units for both sides up here in the northeastern corner. System failure now on an upgrade as well. Skiff seems to have finished his. Let's see if we can confirm what that is. There we go, microwave accelerator. Range and rate of fire increased. System failure piles his troops into the line, waiting for him just down at the bottom of the hill. Taking fire, of course, from the ACU all the while. Overcharges going in, scoring large amounts of bulk kills there. At least he has access to overcharge. System failure still not with an operational energy storage. But still, nonetheless, making good ground here with those Mantis. Two mexes, meanwhile, having been destroyed over in the west. But generally, just not a lot of action here. And a cheeky Mantis getting in around the edge over in the east. I managed to take down an engineer, but we've got bombers out on the field, so Skiff transitioning into some airplay quite heavily. 4 air factories on the way. And that's not going to go too well for system failure, I don't think. System failure not with a single air factory on the field, so he's only going to be able to counter with static and mobile ground-based defense. And those bombers are going to be incredibly flexible now, going to be able to brush this aside, and once this is gone, system failure could find himself completely hemmed into his hillock here. So that's the lie of the land. That could be where he finds himself stuck before too long. Now our blue Cybran with an operational gun upgrade as well. Decides he wants to open up the field a little bit. Had some success obviously in the last couple of minutes up here in the top corner. Skiff needs to be real careful. Doesn't want to find himself too caught up with large numbers of ground units. Slip away from you very fast, but he's doing a good job here. Bombs coming in over the top to help thin out the blue ground forces. Suddenly, Failure's attack begins to lose its potency. So many bombers roaming unchecked now over this map. Skiff has taken a bit of a battering. He's down to around 9,400. System failure looking very healthy indeed on 12,400.
Commander under attack.
System failure sitting at 3 stars on his comm.
Commander
Skiff
under attack.
at 4, so one more potential veterancy upgrade to go for him, and then he's out of HP ranking options. But both teams, or both of these two opponents, destroying almost all opposing forces around about the same rate. We have got T2 on the ground for Skiff. One Rhino making life difficult at the expansion. Eco-wise, not a lot in it. 25 to 21, then system failure dropping to 17,
Commander
going up to 28.
under attack.
6,400 reclaimed bank so far for system failure, 7,700. So Skiff actually doing better on that side of things. And now it's system failure who finds himself surrounded by a whole host of red replicators. Going to want to back up before he loses too much HP, or he could find himself bowing out of this one below 5,000 hit points and falling, bringing in some reinforcements though, and suddenly Skiff finding himself rather alone. Rhino still alive over in the west, 8 kills to his name, and a relatively undefended western section of the map. Still, the ACU wars continue. Skiff's aggression in this one just hasn't let up. To be fair to system failure, he's taken everything that's been thrown at him and kept everything in his base intact. But now Skiff finds himself isolated and alone and below 3,000 hit points and falling down well into the red, below 1,000. I can't believe the turnaround. He overestimated how much room he had to play. And system failure emerges victorious, having been behind for most of that. And of course, had a Rhino in around the back. The line of P-Gens already out of commission. Would have been very interesting to see where that game would have gone had it continued a little bit further, but alas, it wasn't to be. It just shows you how careful you have to be. Yes, your ACU is your main weapon for the first portion of the game, but you've got to be careful. If you overextend, that can happen. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Short one today. More to come, though, as always, in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.